Thank you. Thank you.
No, not yet.
I'm taking pictures of every car now. Yeah.
That's him. Those are him. That was it.
Missed them.
Mr. President, you're meeting with our united war cabinet, united and resolved to lead Israel to victory. This will be a different kind of war because Hamas is a different kind of enemy. While Israel seeks to minimize civilian casualties, Hamas seeks to maximize civilian casualties. Hamas wants to kill as many Israelis as possible and has no regard whatsoever to Palestinian lives. Every day, they perpetrate a double war crime, targeting our civilians while hiding behind their civilians, embedding themselves in the civilian population and using them as human shields. We've seen the cost of this terrible double war crime against humanity that Hamas is perpetrating in the last 11 days. As Israel legitimately targets terrorists, civilians are unfortunately harmed. Hamas is responsible and should be held accountable for all civilian casualties. We saw the cost of this terrible war crime yesterday when a rocket fired by a Palestinian terrorist misfired and landed on a Palestinian hospital. The entire world was rightfully outraged, but this outrage should be directed not at Israel, but at the terrorists. As we proceed in this war, Israel will do everything it can to keep civilians out of harm's way. We have asked them and will continue to ask them to move to safer areas. We'll continue to work with you, Mr. President, to assure that the minimal requirements are met, and we'll continue to work together to get our hostages out. Mr. President, the road to victory will be long and hard, but united in purpose and with a deep sense of justice and the unbreakable spirit of our soldiers and our people, Israel will prevail. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. In the wake of Hamas's appalling terrorist assault, it was brutal, inhumane, almost beyond belief what they did. This cabinet came together and standing strong, standing united, and I want you to know you're not alone. You are not alone. As I emphasized earlier, we will continue to have Israel's back as you work to defend your people. We'll continue to work with you and partners across the region to prevent more tragedy to innocent civilians. 75 years ago, your founders declared that this nation would be one based, quote, based on freedom, justice, and peace. Based on freedom, justice, and peace. The United States stands with you in defense of that freedom, in pursuit of that justice, and in support of that peace. Today, tomorrow, and always, we promise you.
You uplifted the whole spirit in this country and all the Jewish people in the world. So I want to thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you.
You're Dana Coco. Moved here from New York 8 years ago.
Yeah, feel that black gold. Feel our chest. God love you. Thank you.
Mr. President, my name is Dr. Morfarid.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is David Zalmovich. I'm the head of all human anti-anything. So please do your best. Thank you much.
You're obviously doing your best.
President, my name is Nazar
President,
Yes, we're just going to.
folks, there's an Irish poet named William Butler Yeats, and he wrote a line. He said, "Too long a suffering makes a stone of the heart. Too long a suffering makes a stone of the heart." The thing that I found in just this real quick meeting with all of you is none of your hearts have turned to stone yet. Every one of you talked about what you have to do. Every one who talked to you about having to reach out. Talked about whether or not they're a Jew or a Muslim. Reach out. And, I've often said, I remember the first time that I was in Israel with Golda Meir. She was just before the Six-Day War. And she was telling me how terrible everything was, which it was. She kept flipping the maps up and down behind her, and all of a sudden she looked at me and she said, "Would you like a photograph?" And I thought, that's unusual. And she just got up and walked out that door outside her office. And we're standing there having a photograph taken like you and I are standing looking at the press. And she, without looking at me, she turned, she like this, she said, "You look worried, Senator." I said, "I am." She said, "Don't worry, we Jews have a secret weapon in our fight. We have no place else to go." Well, the truth of the matter is, if there weren't an Israel, we'd have to invent one. The truth of the matter is that I believe that, as I went home and said, I got in trouble at the time, but it's true. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. And I think the security and safety of Jews worldwide is anchored in the continued vibrance of the state of Israel. That's what I think it's about at its core. And so I've admired you all, this country for so long. And I'm convinced that the more people know your responses to what's happening, as opposed to just what war and peace is about, the more they're going to be inclined to embrace Israel. And but there's a lot more to say, but I'd like to talk to you in private if I can. That I was shown by my defense counsel.
You're shown by your defense. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.